I know, baby. I know. If only Aaron would just disappear. His presence irritates me so much. I wish he'd vanish forever so we could finally be together without all this pretending. I froze at the bedroom door, my hand still on the doorknob. That was my wife's voice. Tiffany. The woman I'd loved for 6 years. The woman I'd worked 12-hour shifts for. The woman whose laughter used to be my favorite sound in the world. But this laugh was different. Cruel. Intimate in a way that made my stomach turn. My name is Aaron Thompson. I'm a civil engineer. I fix things for a living, bridges, roads, foundations. I build structures that last. I thought I'd built a marriage that would last too. I was wrong. 3 more weeks, Tiffany continued, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I told him I'm taking a solo vacation to rediscover myself. He actually believed it. God, he's so pathetic. The wedding photo on the hallway wall blurred. 6 years ago, we'd stood under a courthouse arch because we couldn't afford anything bigger. She'd worn a simple white dress from a department store. I'd worn my only suit. She'd cried when I said my vows, promising to choose her every single day for the rest of my life. I'd kept that promise. Every single day. I didn't burst through the door. I didn't scream or demand answers. Instead, I turned around, walked down the stairs I'd repaired last summer, past the kitchen where we used to dance, and out to my car. I sat in the driver's seat for 2 hours, staring at nothing. My phone buzzed twice, probably her wondering where I was. I didn't check. Instead, I opened my laptop and began typing. Plans. Timelines. A list of things that needed to happen in the next 21 days. She wanted me to disappear? Fine. I'd become a ghost. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos. Morning light filtered through our kitchen windows, the same windows I'd installed myself 3 years ago. Tiffany bounced into the room wearing expensive athleisure I'd never seen before, cream-colored leggings with a designer logo I couldn't afford on my salary. Her hair was freshly highlighted. When had she gotten that done? She kissed my cheek, a performance I now recognized for what it was. Morning, babe. I'm so excited about this trip. I really need time to work on myself, you know? I poured her coffee, added the exact amount of cream she liked, and smiled. My face felt like plastic. Of course. You deserve it. When do you leave? 3 weeks from today. It's a wellness retreat in Sedona. No phones, no distractions. She scrolled through her phone as she said this, not catching the irony. Just me, yoga, and meditation. I nodded, studying her the way I'd study a structural weakness in a building. The designer purse on the counter. I hadn't bought that. The new manicure, perfectly shaped acrylics in a shade called Rich Girl Problems, according to the bottle I'd found in the trash last week. The perfume that smelled nothing like the vanilla scent I'd given her last Christmas. How long had I been blind? I remembered 4 months ago my best friend Marcus pulling me aside at a barbecue. I saw Tiffany at that steakhouse downtown. She was with some guy. Real cozy. I defended her. Called him paranoid. Watched him back off with worry in his eyes. Sounds perfect, I said, my voice steady. You'll have an amazing time. She grabbed her yoga mat, another new purchase, and headed for the door. Love you. Love you too. The words tasted like ash. After her car pulled away, I opened the small notebook I'd started last night. Day 1 of 21, I wrote. She thinks I'm blind. Below that, I added 3 names. Margaret Chen, attorney. Richard Morrison, realtor. Marcus, friend. I made the first call before my coffee got cold. Margaret Chen's office smelled like leather and old law books. She sat across from me, her sharp eyes studying my face the way a surgeon might examine an X-ray. Mr. Thompson, I need to ask, are you absolutely certain about this? Once we file. I'm certain. She nodded, pulling out a legal pad. All right. Texas is a community property state, but since the house is in your name from before the marriage and you've been the primary earner, we have options. I slid a folder across her mahogany desk. Inside were bank statements, credit card bills I'd been paying without question, receipts for luxury hotels in cities Tiffany claimed she'd never visited. Dinner receipts for 2 at restaurants that cost more than our first month's rent together. Margaret whistled low. She wasn't even trying to hide it. My mind drifted back 6 years. I'd met Tiffany at a charity fundraiser where she volunteered, coordinating donations for homeless shelters. She'd worn jeans and a simple sweater, her hair in a ponytail, no makeup. She'd laughed at my terrible jokes about load-bearing walls. On our first date, we'd split a pizza and talked for 4 hours. She'd held my hand during my mother's funeral, standing beside me when I scattered ashes over the lake Mom loved. 3 years ago when I got my promotion, I'd surprised her with house keys. Our house. Well, my house legally. Her credit was damaged from student loans, so I'd put it in my name, for tax purposes. She'd cried happy tears, jumped into my arms. "You're my hero," she'd whispered. When had hero become pathetic? "Mr. Thompson?" Margaret's voice pulled me back. "Sorry? What were you saying?" "I was saying that with this evidence and the property ownership structure, you're in a strong position. We can file for divorce, have her served, and—" "No serving papers yet," I interrupted. "Not until day 21. Margaret raised an eyebrow. "That's specific." "She's taking a 3-week vacation. I want everything finalized before she returns." "Everything?" "The house sold. The car gone. The marriage over." I met her eyes. She wanted me to disappear. "I'm giving her exactly what she asked for." Margaret leaned back in her chair, a slight smile playing at her lips. "You deserve better, Mr. Thompson. Let's make sure she gets exactly what the law allows, and nothing more." I signed the retainer agreement with steady hands. No tears. No hesitation. Just cold, calculated precision. Richard Morrison met me at a coffee shop downtown, his Mercedes parked outside like a promise of efficiency. He scrolled through photos of our house on his tablet, nodding appreciatively. "Beautiful property. 4-bedroom, renovated kitchen, new roof, we can list it tomorrow." "In this market?" "Sold in a week, maybe less." "I need it sold in 18 days. Richard's eyes widened. "That's aggressive. Can I ask why the rush?" I didn't answer. Just slid the house keys across the table. I remembered standing in that empty house 6 years ago, before furniture, before Tiffany. My mother's voice echoed in my memory. "This is your foundation, Aaron. Don't build it on sand." She died 2 months before I bought it, never got to see me turn it into a home. I'd surprised Tiffany with those keys on a random Tuesday. She'd screamed with joy, toured every room twice, planned where our future children's bedrooms would be. "This is yours?" she'd asked, breathless. "It's ours," I'd said. But the deed told a different story. My name only. My inheritance money. My foundation. 18 days, Richard repeated, making notes. "I'll make it happen." "But your wife, she knows about the sale?" "She will." My phone buzzed. Text from Tiffany. "Can you transfer $500 to my account? Spa day with the girls." 2 hearts. I transferred it immediately. Then screenshot the transaction and texted it to Margaret with a note. "Add this to the evidence file." Richard looked at me carefully. "You know what you're doing, don't you?" "I'm an engineer," I said, standing to leave. "I don't start demolition until I've planned the entire project." He shook my hand. "Consider it listed." I walked out knowing that in 18 days, the house where she'd wished me gone would belong to someone else entirely. 3 weeks had arrived faster than I expected. Tiffany rolled her expensive luggage, new I noticed, probably purchased with money I'd transferred for groceries, to the front door. I stood in the kitchen, coffee mug in hand, watching her performance. "You're not going to miss me?" She gave me that playful pout that used to make me melt. "Every second." She kissed me, her lips soft and familiar and filled with lies. "I'll call when I can. The retreat has limited reception, but I'll try. Love you." "Love you too." The door closed. I stood motionless for 5 full minutes, listening to the silence of our house. Our house. My house. Soon to be someone else's house. Then I moved. First call, Richard? Listed today. Second call, Margaret? She's gone. Start the filing process. Third call, Marcus? I need your truck this weekend. I pulled up Tiffany's Instagram on my laptop. She'd already posted, "Sparkle's solo journey to self-love Sparkles," with a photo of champagne on what looked like a first-class flight. Sedona, she'd said. That champagne looked international to me. I posted the house listing on Zillow. Professional photos Richard had taken last week. Motivated seller. Quick close preferred. Within an hour, 3 showing requests came through. I remembered our last real kiss maybe 8 months ago. We'd been watching a movie and she'd leaned into me naturally, not checking her phone for once. I thought we were okay. I thought wrong. By evening, a couple had made an offer. Full asking price. Cash deal. Close in 2 weeks. I accepted it and texted Richard, "Sold." His response, "You weren't kidding about motivated. Congratulations." I didn't feel like celebrating. I felt like a man systematically erasing his own history, one transaction at a time. Day 5 without Tiffany felt like breathing underwater. Marcus helped me pack her belongings, boxing up designer dresses I'd never seen her wear around me, shoes that cost more than our first month's rent, makeup palettes that could fund a small wedding. Man, I still can't believe Tiffany. I mean, she seemed so perfect. I taped another box shut. Yeah, so did I. Marcus carefully wrapped a framed photo of us from our honeymoon, a weekend camping trip because we couldn't afford more. We'd been so happy with so little. I should have pushed harder, Marcus said quietly. When I saw her with that guy. Made you see. I wasn't ready to see. Now I am. I'd already changed the locks. Called the utility companies to remove her name. Cancelled the joint credit cards. After downloading 6 months of statements showing charges at hotels, jewelry stores, expensive restaurants. Margaret had been thrilled with my documentation. The new homeowner's realtor would pick up the keys tomorrow. A young family, husband, wife, 2 kids. They'd smiled so wide when their offer was accepted. They'd build better memories here than I had. I found Tiffany's wedding dress in the back of our closet, still in its preservation box. I'd paid for the preservation service, thinking someday our daughter might wear it. I packed it without opening the box. My phone rang. Tiffany's name flashed. I let it go to voicemail for the first time in 6 years. Her message, "Hey babe. The retreat is amazing. Missing you tons. They're really strict about phones, so if you can't reach me, don't worry. Love you." I deleted it and loaded another box into Marcus's truck. 11 days until she came home. 11 days until home didn't exist anymore. Margaret's office felt colder on day 12. She spread documents across her desk like a dealer showing her cards, all aces. Divorce petition filed. House sale finalized. Vehicle title transferred. The car? I interrupted. The Mercedes. Your name, your purchase. Sold to a dealership this morning for market value. I'd saved for 8 months to buy Tiffany that car 2 years ago. White Mercedes C-Class, her dream vehicle. I'd worked double shifts, skipped lunches, turned down beers with Marcus to save every dollar. Her birthday morning, I'd blindfolded her and led her outside. When she saw it, she'd actually cried. "Aaron, this is too much." "You're worth it," I'd said, meaning every word. She'd posted photos everywhere. Best husband ever. #blessed, #lucky girl, #miking. 6 months ago, I'd noticed the passenger seat adjusted wrong, too far back for Tiffany's height. A men's cologne smell I didn't recognize. Fast food wrappers from a place she claimed to hate. I told myself I was paranoid. The proceeds? Margaret asked. Separate account. My name only. She slid the final papers toward me. Sign here. And here. Initial here. Each signature felt like driving a nail into a coffin. Our marriage certificate had 1 signature page. Our divorce decree had 12. Mr. Thompson, most people would confront their spouse. Demand explanations. Throw things. You're just erasing her. I set down the pen. She erased me first. I'm just making it official. Margaret nodded slowly. For what it's worth, I've handled 300 divorces. This is the most methodical I've seen. You okay? No, I admitted. But I will be. I left her office with copies of everything. 9 days until Tiffany's return. 9 days until she discovered what disappearing actually meant. Marcus and I pulled up to Tiffany's parents' house on day 18, his truck loaded with boxes. I'd organized everything, clothes by season, shoes by type, personal items labeled carefully. Even in dismantling our marriage, I couldn't stop being methodical. Linda answered the door, dish towel in hand, confusion spreading across her face. Aaron? What's all this? Tiffany's things. She'll need them when she gets back. Linda's frown deepened. Gets back? Isn't she with you? No, ma'am. She's been in Sedona. Wellness retreat. I watched realization dawn slowly, like sunrise over frozen ground. Linda had always loved me. Her husband Robert, a retired firefighter, had pulled me aside at our wedding reception. Just courthouse cake and punch, nothing fancy. You're a good man, Aaron. Better than the boys she used to bring around. You take care of my girl. And I had. For 6 years. Sunday dinners at their house. Helping Robert fix his truck. Bringing Linda flowers on Mother's Day. Being the son-in-law they'd always wanted. 3 months ago, Linda had asked me privately, "Is everything okay with you too?" Tiffany seems distant. I'd lied smoothly. We're great, Linda. Just busy with work. Now, watching Marcus unload box after box, I couldn't lie anymore. Aaron. Linda's voice cracked. What happened? I handed her an envelope containing copies of the divorce papers and a brief note explaining where the originals were. She can explain when she's ready. I'm sorry it ended this way. Linda opened the envelope right there, her hands shaking. I heard her gasp as she saw the word divorce in bold letters. I hugged her. She was crying now and I felt like a monster for breaking her heart too. I'm sorry, I whispered again, then walked away before I broke down myself. Day 21. Tiffany's Uber pulled up to what used to be our house. I wasn't there. Marcus had given me the play-by-play from his car parked down the street. She looked tanned, relaxed, her hair professionally styled. 3 weeks of luxury with whoever she'd chosen over me. She paid the driver, grabbed her luggage and stopped dead. A children's bike on the front lawn. A different car in the driveway. A wreath on the door we'd picked out together. Marcus texted me, she's trying her key. It's not working. I imagined her confusion turning to panic. The door opened. A woman stood there, Jennifer, the new owner, holding a toddler on her hip. Can I help you? This is MY House. What are you doing here? Marcus sent me an audio clip. I could hear the hysteria in Tiffany's voice. Jennifer's calm response, we bought this house 2 weeks ago. Legally. From Aaron Thompson. I thought about the man she'd left me for. Some guy with money, probably. Someone who could give her the life she wanted without all that irritating presence of a husband who actually loved her. 1 year ago she joined that expensive gym. Started making new friends. Came home later and later. I'd worked more hours to afford her new lifestyle, thinking I was being supportive. 8 months ago the affair must have started. I could pinpoint it now, the night she came home and flinched when I tried to kiss her. Bad day, she'd said. 3 weeks ago he'd probably suggested this vacation. Clear your head. Come back and ask for a divorce. You'll get everything. Except she hadn't counted on me hearing her wish me gone. Marcus texted, she's calling you. 10 times now. I blocked her number and poured myself bourbon. First drink I'd had in 3 weeks. Tiffany called her mother from our front lawn, from what used to be our front lawn, hysterical and incomprehensible. Linda's voice was ice. Come home, Tiffany. Now. Marcus followed her Uber to her parents' house and sent me updates. The garage was full of boxes. Robert stood in the driveway, arms crossed, disappointment carved into every line of his face. I called them yesterday, told them the truth. Not everything, I didn't mention the phone call I'd overheard, but enough. She's been unfaithful. I filed for divorce. I wanted you to hear it from me first. Robert had been silent for a long moment. That girl? I raised her better than this. I know you did, sir. Now, according to Marcus's play-by-play, Tiffany was getting out of the Uber, seeing her belongings, seeing her father's face. 3 weeks in Sedona, huh? Robert's voice carried across the lawn. Dad, I can explain? Linda appeared in the doorway. Explain what? The divorce papers? Or the man you've been cheating on Aaron with? Marcus sent me a video. Tiffany had frozen, her face cycling through denial, fear, and finally resignation. Linda's voice broke. He brought your things here. Didn't trash you to us. Didn't ask us to choose sides. Just said, she can explain when she's ready. That's more grace than you deserve. I remembered Linda teaching Tiffany to make her grandmother's apple pie in that kitchen. Teaching both of us actually because I'd wanted to learn everything about Tiffany's family. I'd wanted to belong. Robert handed Tiffany an envelope through Marcus's video feed. Read it, then pack your things. You're not staying here tonight. I turned off my phone. I didn't need to see any more. I'd written the note on day 15, sitting in my new apartment, a small one-bedroom I'd rented across town. I'd revised it 6 times, trying to find words that wouldn't make me sound bitter or broken. The final version sat in that envelope with the divorce papers. Tiffany, you wanted me gone. You wished I would disappear forever. I heard you. Every word. So I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. The house is sold. The car is gone. The marriage is over. I've taken only what was legally mine. Your belongings are with your parents. I hope whoever you wished me gone for was worth it. You got your wish. I disappeared. But unlike you, I'm not coming back. Aaron. Marcus called me that evening. She read it, man. She just collapsed. Started screaming your name. Tried calling you probably 30 times. I changed my number. I figured. Her parents kicked her out. Robert looked devastated. Linda couldn't stop crying. I closed my eyes, remembering our wedding day. Tiny ceremony, just immediate family and Marcus. Tiffany's vows. Aaron, I promise to choose you every day. To be your partner in everything. To love you when it's easy and when it's hard. 5 years ago, dancing in our kitchen at midnight to no music. Her head on my chest, swaying. "We don't need money to be happy, right?" she'd whispered. "Right. Just us. 3 years ago, me working 16-hour days. Coming home exhausted. Her massaging my shoulders. You work too hard, babe. It's for us. For our future." 18 months ago, everything changed. She stopped touching me first. Stopped asking about my day. Stopped being present even when she was physically there. Last month, I brought home takeout from her favorite Thai restaurant. She'd barely looked up from her phone. I already ate. I'd eaten alone at our kitchen table, watching her scroll through Instagram, laughing at things she didn't share with me. That's when I'd known. She was already gone. I just hadn't heard her say it out loud yet. Marcus's voice pulled me back. "You okay?" "Getting there." 6 months later, I sat in my apartment sketching designs for a community center project. Therapy had helped. Dr. Sanders had taught me that loving someone who betrayed you doesn't make you pathetic, it makes you human. Marcus visited, bringing pizza like old times. "How you holding up, man?" "Better. Actually better. Heard Tiffany's been trying to contact you through mutual friends." I'd blocked 15 people in 6 months. Old college friends who thought they were helping by passing along her messages. Coworkers who'd seen her crying at a coffee shop and felt bad for her. Blocked them all. She made her choice. Marcus grinned. "And the other guy? Derek Morrison, hedge fund douche?" I'd learned his name eventually. Marcus had done some digging, turned out Derek had a pattern. Married women, promised them everything, dumped them once they're actually available. Dumped her 2 months in. Apparently affair partners don't make great long-term prospects. Who knew? I'd heard through Linda, who still called me sometimes, apologizing for her daughter, crying about how she'd raised her better, that Tiffany was working 2 retail jobs now. Living in a studio apartment. Driving a used Honda. No designer bags. No luxury gym. Just consequences. She'd scrolled through old photos, Linda said. Stopped on our wedding picture. Cried for hours. My phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. It rang again. Finally I picked up. "Hello? Aaron." Tiffany's voice, broken and desperate. I hung up. Blocked the number. Marcus watched me. "You okay?" "Yeah." The next weekend I went to the park with my sketchbook working on designs. A woman sat nearby reading. She glanced over, smiled. "Those are beautiful. You're talented." "Thanks. I'm relearning to create for myself." We talked. Her name was Rebecca. She was a teacher. Divorced 2 years. No games, no pretense. Just honest conversation. When I got home, I looked at my wedding photo one last time, me and Tiffany, so young, so hopeful. Then I put it in a box and closed the lid. She'd wanted me to disappear. I had. But what she'd lost in my absence was irreplaceable. A man who would have loved her forever, worked himself to exhaustion for her happiness, chosen her every single day. I disappeared all right. But I'd reappeared as someone who finally understood his own worth. And that was the best revenge of all.